What's good, y'all? Y'all already know what time it is. Got a tech testimony. He went from being a DoorDasher to breaking into tech sales. And I love stories like this because somebody called me. That annoyed me so much. I love stories like this because Instagram acting up. We good? All right, Instagram said it was acting up. Anyway, I love stories like this because it reminds me of my story, me going from being a Lyft driver to breaking into the tech industry. So it's always dope to see people that are going from roles that, jobs that most people look at as like the bottom of the bottom, even though, DoorDash and Lyft driving, those are totally cool jobs to do. But they go from just that to working in the tech industry, a 6-figure career, being able to scale really far. And in some instances, some people make 7 figures in tech sales, but that's very rare. Those are the unicorns. We want to talk about the average, and the average person in tech sales scales to $250,000 a year. And then the rock stars, which hopefully he's a rock star, scales to over $500,000, stuff like that. So I'm gonna go ahead. Somebody sent the request. I thought that was him, but it's not him. Did you send a request yet, Jermaine? Did you send a request to join? Let me see. Oh yeah, he did. All right, cool. I'm accepting it now. All right, so I'm gonna go over a few of the house rules before we jump into the story. So first and foremost, as y'all can already see, for those that are interested in doing the exact same boot camp that he did to get into the industry, just comment SDR because this is the boot camp that he did that educated himself. He didn't go to college to get in tech. He didn't, I don't know, like I don't even know what else to say, but basically he did this boot camp. So we're gonna focus on what he did to break into the industry, even apart from the boot camp, like what he did during the interview process, during the applying process, all of that. Because guess what, y'all? Today is literally his first day at his tech company. So he just started today. So we're gonna talk about what the first day is like. He's obviously in orientation, hasn't started working yet, but still we got to talk about that and hear what it's like. It's always, y'all, the purpose of these tech testimonies is to inspire and to educate. It's to inspire people that want to do something different, to make money, to take care of themselves, take care of their family. Like he's a husband, he's a father. It's like you want to do something different, but it's also to educate you and to give you insight as to not just the experience with the boot camp, but also the experience when it came to the applying, the interviewing, all of that good stuff. And so I love to have these conversations because the whole goal is to see all of us win, all of us elevate. So Jermaine, bro, thank you so much, man, for coming on here, dude, taking time, not just for your day, but the fact this was your first day and you were like, yeah, I'm gonna still come on and still talk to the people and stuff. So I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, man, it's a pleasure to be here. Can you hear me? We good?
Yeah, I can hear you. I think my device acting crazy. Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, so man, it's a pleasure to be here. Let me say it's my second day. Yesterday was my first day.
Oh, okay.
Today is my second day. Still, paperwork and orientation stuff. So it's still the same thing. Yeah, man. So pleasure to be here, man. I'm excited. Let's do it.
Yeah, man. So look. Check. Can you hear me now? Can you still hear me? Okay, good. All right, good. I had to get both of these to connect. Anyway, so look, man, let's jump into it. So, and also for everybody, quick heads up, make sure that those of y'all on Instagram that have questions, make sure that y'all are clicking the drop down and then putting your questions in the designated question area. Those of y'all that are on LinkedIn and YouTube, I'm noticing y'all are those of y'all that are on LinkedIn and YouTube, make sure that y'all are just, y'all can post y'all questions here. We'll get to your questions when we're able to get to them. And so anyway, let's get into it, bro. All right, man. So just on a high level, can you tell us just really quickly, without going into detail, because we're going to get into the detail later. So what boot camp did you do to get in tech? How long did it take you after the boot camp before you started at your first company, which you just started yesterday? And what was that moment like when you received the offer, when they basically told you like, yo, we want you, this is your start date, all of that. So you tell us what boot camp did you do, and how long did it take you until you started or got your first job, really? And what was that experience like when you got the offer?
Yeah, man. So I started the transition into tech and the boot camp. I started that in January. So I started that in January with Course Careers, the tech sales boot camp. I knew about it for a while, but I was really skeptical. I was seeing all kind of videos about how you can make this amount of money quick, and fast.
Yeah.
And I'm not in that position where I could just take that kind of risk, being a
Yeah.
family man, being, a father of 3 and a husband.
Yeah.
So January came, I decided to take the leap. And so when I did that, I finished in about a little over a month.
Hold up real quick.
Volume is low. Okay.
Shanae said they can't hear you. Oh yeah, I guess your volume's low. You sound fine to me, but I guess everybody else can't hear you.
Okay. Let's see. How can I fix that?
Can you, I guess, the volume button on the side or the Bluetooth devices that you have in? Is there any way to turn it up?
Hold on. Let me see.
Hey y'all, look, I love stories like this because again, him being a father, a husband, like we're able to see it from a different angle and perspective. That's a whole different level of pressure that he had to face. Everybody on LinkedIn and YouTube said y'all are good. Yeah, so y'all are good on LinkedIn and YouTube. It's just Instagram.
Yeah, that's weird.
So y'all can't hear him at all. If it's frozen, if it's frozen, that's just because of your own Wi-Fi. Because it's fine for me.
Yeah. Can y'all hear me?
Let us know if y'all can hear him fine.
Yeah, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, some people can hear you, some people can't. I think that might be individual devices. Yeah, they said they can hear you on Instagram. Okay, we're good. Yeah. No. We good.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they said you sound fine. Yeah, I think it just might be a couple people here where maybe y'all need to turn turn y'all stuff up. How about that? Got us over here working.
Got me over here sweating.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, so look, if you can go back a little bit. So you mentioned how at first you were a little skeptical, and you said because you're a husband, because you're a father, and because technically you weren't working a job, you didn't have like a very secure income. Not only were you skeptical, but you also were like, yo, I can't take this risk right now. Yeah. What was it that led you? Like, what was it that led you to say, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and do it? And you signed up in January. How long was that the time take before you finally pulled the trigger, before you signed up in January?
Well, actually, it might have been about 7 months of me kind of like hearing about it and knowing, I actually saw your interview with Anthony O'Neill. So it's kind of like, it was kind of just in my just my mind, in the back of my mind. But really what happened was I heard the Lord, tell me to go ahead and do it, like to do it. So that's really all it takes for me. I hear the Lord, and then it's just a matter of, getting my wife on board. And once I got her on board, like once me and her lock in and we agree, can't nobody tell me nothing else, So that's really what it took. So once I started doing it, I just went all out with it.
Oh man, that's incredible. So you went ahead and signed up. You started in January. It's a self-paced program, so someone can finish it in 2 weeks. Someone could finish it in 3 months. It's really up to them. But it's a self-paced program. Between the time that you finished the program and when you got your offer letter, how long was that time period?
Yeah, so I finished the program in February, and I was getting interviews, just monthly. Made it through to the third stage, of one that I thought was the company for me. Ended up not getting it. So it was from February until I got the interview with the company that I'm with now was May 30th. So from that time in February to May 30th, I got the interview. And 7 days from there, I got a verbal offer, and then I got my official offer on that Monday, and then I started yesterday. So it was like once I got it, it was right away. So
Man.
now I'm here. Yeah.
And that's incredible. And what I love about it is that when I was looking at your LinkedIn, the company that you're at is a really dope company too. So it's we'll talk about that a little bit more later, because oftentimes, I'm real, it's I just think your company's dope. Like what your company is doing is actually cool. And I think it's really cool to work at a tech company where what they're doing is actually pretty interesting. And it not just be something that's just so deep and so technical that it's like, okay, cool, whatever. So I think it's dope. I'm happy for you with the position that you got. Definitely shouts out to God. Shouts out to you, you know, being a man of God, you praying, you waiting to hear from God. And so I love that so much for you. Shouts out to Anthony O'Neill in that interview that I did with him. It's so crazy how years later, it's almost 2 years later now, that interview is still like blessing lives, and God is still using that interview to lead people to making a decision that's going to transform their lives forever. So I love that so much. And so now the moment you receive the offer letter, because again, you were skeptical. You finally pulled the trigger in January.
Yes.
And last year you were kind of wondering if it was a scam or not, or if it was legitimate or not.
Fact.
Now you're in the space. What was that moment like when you got the phone call or the email for the offer? What was that like for you emotionally? And also, what was that like for your wife?
So it was a big weight lifted. You know, as a husband, you know, we have the responsibility to provide for our family, you know, and in that provision, you know, it can bring, like, God can use it to bring, you know, a kind of peace, you know, like comfort. Like it's not the source of it, right? It's God, but you know, he will use it to do that. Like we're in a unconventional situation, right? So I told you earlier, we had moved. Our move was actually by faith as well last year, you know. So we moved from Cincinnati to North Carolina. There was no job waiting on me, no job waiting on her, no place. So I mean, like this whole thing is just, we're walking by faith, trusting the Lord. Yeah. We don't see anything, you know, in the natural, but all we had was a word from the Lord, and that was enough. So to look back there and to look now, you know, everything that I'm doing is, you know, off of the word of the Lord. So even this job and seeing it, I have my faith in God, of course. But when you got that official, like physical thing, it's like, man, we did it, you know. So I was relieved. She was really proud of me, you know, which you know made me even more, you know, encouraged and everything. So I mean, it was just a big turnaround. It's a new season for us. So, you know, we are welcoming all that comes with it.
Yo, man, that's so fire, dude. That's incredible. Yeah. And for your wife, like, what was her reaction when you told her? Like, you actually tell us, like, what happened when you told her, like, yo, babe, like, I got it.
Yeah. She was with me every step of the way, right through the first interview, second interview, third interview. So I was keeping her pretty up to date about everything. And so when I found out, she's out doing something. So when she came back, you know, I was kind of just like small talk, you know, all the pleasantries, and I just letting her talk about what she's talking about. And then I'm just like, so I got the verbal offer. Like, I got the job. Like, she was like, what? Like, why you didn't start with that? Like, what? So she was like, she was ecstatic, bro. Like, it was, like, it did my heart good, you know, to be able to give that kind of news. You know what I mean? Like, to be able to bring that to my wife, you know, like, she don't nobody know, like, what this all took. So it's like, she's like right there with me, like that rib, like right there with me. Yeah. So she was like ecstatic.
Man. Sure. Bro, that's so fire. I mean, for your wife, because she saw the work you put in. She saw the entire process. So for her to see that result, you know, and I'm sure she was praying for you, and she was having faith, like, on your behalf, on y'all's behalf, since y'all are one unit. Yeah. Bro, like, that's fire, dude. I love that. I love that. Look, y'all, people hype in the comments too. I love stuff like this. I love you just want to talk about this.
My wife is on there too. Shantar Nicole. That's my wife, my old lady.
Okay, yeah. She said, yes, I was excited and proud of you. Yeah. All that. Man, look, I love this so much. Major congratulations, man. I told you this before, but congratulations. Congratulations also to your wife and your family. Again, this is your new floor. So this is your new floor. So it literally only goes up from here, bro. It only goes up from here, like for real, man. So I'm so ecstatic for you. Even in the comments, recruiter cousin, she was here on Instagram, but she jumped over onto YouTube. She's in North Carolina. I'm sure you might have seen a little bit of her content or seen a little bit of her.
I have,
she's a very, very popular recruiter that's helped a lot of people. And so she's in North Carolina. She said in the chat that she wants to link up with you and your wife. I mean, her husband, they out there, so y'all can probably do like some double date type stuff. And so she's a dope person overall, but also of course a great resource also, man. So major congratulations. Anyway, my bad. We got to get back to it. People got questions. I got questions. I'm just in a moment right now because I love this. I love this. All right, so look. So you broke down how initially you were skeptical. You were like, okay, I'm not really sure about this. At that point in time, you mentioned you were a DoorDasher, which we're going to talk a little bit about. And then you eventually were like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and sign up for this boot camp. You heard from God. God told you to do it. Your wife was on board. You did it. Started in January. The time frame between when you the interview with the company and got your offer was crazy fast at a dope company at that. You started yesterday. So let's like really kind of go back. Like you were door dashing.
Yes.
And what was that like for you, your wife, and your family? And in what way, like what did that do that led you to be like, yo, I have to get out of this? Because that's really the thing I've noticed in most people. I think some people just want to make more money, but in other people, it's also the career that they're in or the job that they're doing. They're like, yo, I need to move on to something else. And if you could answer, like, what was it that led for you wanting to leave that? But also, can you explain for people, this is more of a mentality thing. Can you answer what mentally you had to go through to be able to like step into this industry in this space? Because again, some people are just like, I've seen people that are just like, yo, I'm about to sign up and I'm about to do this, but then they're scared because they have imposter syndrome and they're so fearful, they're so in their head, so they never make a move. So can you explain the mental process, if there was any mental process that you had to go through, and maybe even how the boot camp might have helped you with that?
Yeah. So there, it is definitely taxing mentally, and if you don't have a solid foundation, and I'm saying, I'm going to go and say it specifically, Jesus. Like if you don't have a solid foundation to fall back on, man, I don't know how you're going to do it. You know what I mean?
What was
DoorDashing.
DoorDashing was taxing.
So just the getting to the point of where I'm going to do this this tech stuff like full-fledged, gung-ho. I don't care like what somebody got to say. I'm doing it. So and the reason why I say this, from last year to now, we moved 7 times. 7 times. So I wasn't able. Yeah. So 7 times, and we actually moved between states. So North Carolina and South Carolina. That was, so we went from place to place, but mind you, the Lord opened the door for us to stay like wherever we stayed at, where we didn't have to pay anything. It's just, I don't know how he did it, but he did, but at the same time, there are still things that, I still got to find a way to, to generate some income. So I started doing DoorDash. Like I was doing that every night, whenever I could during the day, like get my wife some time, away from the kids, just doing what I can to make it, work. But I had to get over being desperate, because if I would have been desperate and took whatever job, like whatever tech job, then, I probably would have got out of tech and just said, forget it. I got to the point to where it was like, I'm not content, but I will keep busting my butt doing this DoorDash thing, researching companies, looking at newsletters, reading books, until I found the right place. I'm not just going to take anything, you know. So, but yeah, I mean, it was definitely taxing because you know, I mean, you don't make a lot of money DoorDashing. You definitely don't, and it's wear and tear on the car. You know, it's all kind of like, so what you make, you got to put gas back in. So it's just like, it's definitely mentally, you know, like just draining. But again, I just go back to that thing of like my rock, you know, like it's my Lord and Savior, bro. Like that's like when I wanted to like give up and like just be like, yo, what are you doing, God? Like, because it's not just tech for me. Like, it was moving my family. It was everything, you know. So, but since God was getting me through just the whole thing, tech. Not even trying to be funny, it became easy. Like, God did something greater yesterday, last week, last month, 2 months ago. This, like, once I got my wife like with me, bro, it's over. Like, so, and you had mentioned Shanae. I watched the interview you did with her, and there was something that she had said that had stuck with me, like. And like I've been saying it, you know, like in my interviews. So sorry, Shanae, like I ain't take the credit for it though. But you know, I was saying this in interviews, and she had said something about she was talking about just how important it is to like to know what you want, like to know why you're asking for this amount of money, to know, you know, like to show yourself, to have that business acumen, right? And she had said because you want them to see you as a colleague and not a subordinate. Man. I was like, okay, yeah. Like, so that's how I'm moving now. You know, so every time I would have, you know, like an interaction with someone on LinkedIn or whatever, you know, I would just show that I'm not scared to reach out to nobody, to talk to somebody. I'm gonna do what I have to do. You know, like my why is a little bit different than most people's whys. You know, like my reason. You know, I have a little more responsibility, you know, like, and my background, I don't have a college background. You know, I don't have, you know, like tech experience. So I got to bring a little more, and I brought it. I brought it.
I love that so much, man. Look, I want to, a few people have been asking, I failed to do this, so it's my fault. Yeah. A few people are asking like what exactly he's doing in tech. So he mentioned this earlier. He did the SDR course within Course Careers. So it's a tech sales role is what he's doing that he just got hired on for. And that was a course that he did. Yeah, he just mentioned he has no college degree, no tech background, none of those things. It was solely just the boot camp and his hard work. The boot camp, his hard work, and you know, and the grace of God ultimately is what it was for him. And so we're going to talk a little bit about the boot camp and some things that it gave him that helped him and assisted him. But I at least wanted to mention that for those of y'all that are on YouTube and LinkedIn and you are interested in doing the same boot camp, the same course, I'm gonna be real with y'all. This boot camp has helped more people get into tech than any other boot camp that I've recommended. People constantly all throughout the week are messaging me that they broke into tech, they broke into tech through this boot camp. Y'all can go back. I have over 50 interviews on my page like this with other people that have done the exact same boot camp, exact same course. So, and that's why, you know, y'all know I have like the discount link for the boot camp. And that's why I talk about this one so much. There's a lot of other really dope boot camps y'all see me talk about, but this one is by far the most affordable because it's only like with my discount link, it's only $449. That's it. Not know you pay something else later. It's literally just that. So it's crazy affordable. And with his first paycheck that he's gonna get next week or in 2 weeks, that's gonna more than pay that money back. And then so it's like it's honestly crazy. You want to say something?
Can I share something real quick? So yeah. I would be remiss to not share this. So I'm gonna say this. Get you a AJ. So look, AJ is my brother, right? Like my really good friend, AJ. We actually at the same time decided to to pivot into tech, right? Yeah. So, you know, I didn't have a mentor. I didn't have, you know, the means to, you know, like get, you know, these classes or certificate, whatever it was. So God literally used like me and him to like, hey, like what you find out about this? Like we would just like bounce stuff off of each other, right?
Yeah.
And then we came across the whole like Course Careers thing, and I saw it. I saw the price tag, right? Course Careers is the cheapest one out of all of them, right?
Yeah.
But at that time, bro, I still couldn't afford it. I couldn't even afford the payment plan.
Dang.
I couldn't even afford that, bro. So I'm like, God, like I know you told me to do this. You know, like what's going on? My wife, you know, I tell her, hey, babe, like I really want to do this Course Careers. Like I know money is tight, but I really feel like the Lord is telling me to do it. She's like, look, like God's gonna have to provide because I don't know where it's gonna come from. And again, get you an AJ, because my brother, we were talking, you know, and he decided he was gonna do it. And we're talking like on FaceTime. I'm like, yeah, bro, like go for it, bro, do it. Like I'm happy for you. I get a notification from him. He didn't send me the money to do Course Careers. Get you an AJ.
What's up?
Get you an AJ, my brother. So look, so we went through the course together, finished, right? And I know we're probably gonna get into this later, but I think this is the perfect time. AJ, you know, like we're interviewing, you know, getting through the final rounds, not getting the job, whatever. You know, we're using each other like to encourage each other, like to not give up, etc. AJ then gets a job, you know, with a really good company, man, a really, really good company. And his boss ends up, you know, telling him, hey, like we're looking to hire some more people. You know, is there anybody that you know? Get you an AJ, y'all. He plugged me in. The company is the company I work for now. So not only did we start at the same time, we were at the same company.
Yo,
you can't tell me God ain't good.
That's crazy.
Yo, Jesus meant what he said.
Man,
get you an AJ.
To put 10,000 a flight. What you talking about? Yo, I love that. Yeah, that's incredible. That's incredible. I love that so much. I mean, that's so smart. You know, to be real, never heard anybody say that before, and that's some of the best advice ever. To have somebody that not only can both of y'all keep each other accountable during the boot camp and be able to motivate each other and be able to kind of keep each other on par, but also to be able to apply to different companies or the same companies and be like, yo, if I get something, I'm gonna tell them about you too. Cause that's fire. That is fire. I love that so much, man.
Yeah, yeah. So
shouts out to AJ.
Man, AJ, if you on here, bro, love you, bro, for sure. You already know.
That's incredible. So Wifey the quarterback, AJ the MVP.
Come on, man.
Yo,
come on, and God's the coach.
Exactly. Big facts. Big facts. Yo, that's incredible, man. Thanks for sharing that. That's fire. So, man, so look, so can you answer for people? So let's say, and this is for the people that are like, okay, look, I'm interested in doing it, but I have imposter syndrome. I'm worried about if it's actually if it'll work for me or if I can do it. Can you speak to some of the things? And you don't have to be specific. You could be as specific or as vague as you want. But can you speak to how the boot camp prepares people mentally wise to be that person to actually be able to crush it in this industry?
Yeah. So I'm gonna say this, man. Course Careers definitely lays out the foundation of what it means to be in sales, period. But specifically the SDR role, BDR, whatever, you know, like it lays out the foundations. And because it is self-paced, you can go through something and go back over that mug as many times as you want to, like to really get that information like there. Like it goes over things like the email structure, goes over things like, you know, just getting prepared and mentally, you know, just getting ready for the job. Because talking to people, man, reaching out to people, doing cold calls, that can be scary. And a lot of people like psych themselves out before they even put themselves out there. And what I would say is, if you don't believe in what you can do, nobody is. Like that might be super cliche, but it's the truth. Like it's either you're gonna do it or you don't. Time waits for no one. Like I know them bills coming. They ain't gonna wait. You know,
At
those bills definitely come in, and if you need some assistance, Flex will definitely help you. So I'm gonna go ahead and plug that in. You know, just go ahead and look up Flex and get it together. But I would just say, man, just make your mind up and do it. The thing about Course Careers is they have a free trial run. So if you want to take a look at that and just make sure that you want to do that, just take your time even with that. Take the free trial seriously. Because pivoting careers is a life change. So maybe you are feeling that weight, you know what I mean? Because it's definitely a real weight, but make your mind up and do it. Do it.
Big facts. Thanks for sharing all of that. I mentioned this earlier for those of y'all that are on YouTube and LinkedIn, that all you have to do is click the drop down and you'll see the discount link that you can use. And again, like he mentioned, even with that, you don't have to go ahead, you don't have to pay right away. So you can use the discount link. You can do that free intro course that they have. So that way you can build up your confidence, get familiar with it. And then for everybody that you're like, yep, I'm gonna go ahead and do it, literally with that link, you'll still be able to get that discount off. For those of y'all on Instagram, y'all literally just got to comment SDR and check your DMs. Y'all know how the automations work at this point. You'll get an automated DM. It'll have the information and stuff up in there as well. For those of y'all that have already done a boot camp, whether you're in tech yet or you're in the applying and interviewing process right now, or you're already in the industry, we are about to launch Techpreneur Saturdays. These are going to be it's an upcoming tech event in Mixer that we have that's coming up in about 2.5 weeks. It is entirely free, but it's first come, first serve. So it's registration only. So once y'all see us drop that, I haven't we haven't dropped it yet, but once y'all see us drop it, y'all better get it, because literally as soon as registration is closed out, that's it. So it will be taking place here in Atlanta. So make sure that you jump on that so you can get take advantage of that. So I just want to kind of put that out there for y'all. I see career coach Jen said, ooh, Techpreneur Saturdays. So as y'all can see, she's a career coach, but she also has been killing it in the tech sales space. She's an account executive. She's been doing her thing. She's been in the industry for a while now. Super cool people. And there's actually a tech event coming up this Thursday. So if you're in Atlanta, she's a part of a board of I forget the name of it. That's so bad because they're a very popular organization with a lot of connections with major tech companies that are hiring for a myriad of roles. So definitely message her. She's right here in the chat. Career Coach Jen. She has a yellow. Her profile picture is yellow. She's wearing blue. She's a white girl. She's the white girl with the yellow thing, blue outfit, all that. So you can't really miss her. So anyway, I just wanted to mention that to y'all. So good stuff. All right, so look, let's get back into it.
Yes, sir.
Oh, somebody said the link isn't a hyperlink. That might be on YouTube. So Corey Cometh, if you literally just go to my Instagram and you just comment SDR on my Instagram, you'll get it. I'll see if I can turn it into a hyperlink on YouTube later. But for now, you can just comment SDR on my Instagram, and you'll get the access to the discount link. Anyway, so back into it. So you're talking about how Course Careers, how the bootcamp really helps people mentally wise be able to make that mental transition and build up that confidence and some other pieces. And then even how people can do that free intro, just so that could be something that could really kind of get them to that point. Now, when it comes to the actual interview process, because we know that, MVP, AJ, he put you on with the company, put in a good word for you, which is always a great thing for people to have. When it came to the actual interview, because even though he set it up for you, that doesn't mean you automatically don't get the job. You still had to interview. You still had to do your thing.
Right.
So that being said, what are some tips and things that you did? What are some things that you learned in Course Careers that helped you during the interview process? And what are maybe a couple other things that you can provide for people that can help them out in the future?
Yeah. So Course Careers had they used some references to some books in their material.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember the name of the books, but I do remember that it was geared towards just the psychology and really just like how people naturally are. Like you're talking to an actual person. You know, like don't come off as a salesperson. Just talk to them. Learn how to communicate with someone. And that really helped me because I don't have any necessary like sales experience like in the tech world to where I could compare to anything. Because the closest thing that I know of was like car salesman. And I'm like, I don't know how to be like that, you know.
Yeah.
But when I saw that, you know, like, oh, I can just be myself. You know, I can definitely like turn up the business out just a little bit more, but I can still be me. But Course Careers drives that. Like, they really drive that. Like you're talking to a person, you know, like let them do the talking. You know, ask thoughtful questions. You know, so even with the interview process, treat it the same way. You're talking to an actual person. Like, come prepared with questions, like not just the generic questions, like what's the culture like there? And like, yes, that's cool, but you can actually find that on your own if you look it up. You know, you got Glassdoor, you got different sites, right? So outside of Course Careers, what I learned to do, you know, was just do things that people normally won't do, right? Like, so when you're looking at a company, you see reviews. You're not going to only see good reviews. You're going to see some bad ones in there, and you might see a lot. You don't just ignore them. I would recommend people take those negative reviews, kind of see what the consistent theme is of those negative reviews, and you ask the hiring manager about it. Like, hey, I've seen that this says this. You know, like, what are you doing, or how will you coach your team? You know, through working through this potential objection. You know, blase. What that shows is that not only you did some research and you're thinking outside the box, but it shows that you're not scared to ask these questions.
Yeah.
You're not like you're showing a level of tenacity and and fearlessness that people just don't have naturally. It's better for your manager to want to like tame it versus try to pull it out of you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
exactly.
So, but then also for you realizing that depending on how this person answers this question or not, is going to show whether you will want to work for that person. If this person is offended, you know, gives a kind of snarky response, that probably ain't the person that you want to, you know, partner with or work with. You know, but if they, you know, are taking it back, like, you know what, that's actually a really thoughtful question. I don't know right now, or whatever the case may be, it's going to show you, like, it's not just a one-way street. Because at the end of the day, like, you're also interviewing them too. So come with those thoughtful questions. Do your research. Don't ask the generic stuff. Like, do what you can to stand out. You know, like, and I'm gonna throw this in there too. Try to see if you can do a cold call. Try to initiate that on the actual interview, like a mock cold call.
Oh, that's good.
Like, hey, I'm ready to do a mock cold call. You know, we can definitely do that towards the end. You know, or whatever. It shows them you ain't scared. Like, you're not scared. Like, you ready to get through it, and you can make mistakes, but it can show that you're coachable. It can show, you know, that this manager is a good coach for you. I mean, there's so many benefits to taking an unconventional approach and thinking outside the box. Like, don't be like everybody else, because you actually are not like everybody else. So show how you not.
Yeah, I love that. That's so good. Yeah, he dropping some good bars. So look, we got a few questions in here. Your wife is hilarious. She's on YouTube and on Instagram simultaneously. She in both comments hyping you up.
Hey, I love you, babe. Thank you.
Yo, that's fire. Shouts out to Mario, the homie Mario. I'm _ Super Mario. He Mario's somebody I go back with years and years ago, and he's in the industry right now. He's been crushing it. Mario, y'all, he has an actual interesting story because he broke into tech, lost his first job, and he lost it. And he admitted that he lost it. And I'm not sharing anything he wouldn't be comfortable with me saying. He lost his first job because he really wasn't on top of it. And so he lost it and then had to you know, get it together, landed another role within a pretty short period of time, landed another role. But at that point, readjusted everything and was like, he ain't playing around now. He is not playing around. So I
That's
love
what's up.
stories like that. It was very like real raw story about how, yeah, he did a boot camp and helped him out, but it's like took his eye off the ball a little bit just for a second. But, God, spun the block with that blessing, helped him back out. And now he's doing his thing. And so I always love things like that. All right, so look, so we're going to go ahead and get to these questions. Everybody, please make sure y'all are putting your questions inside the designated question section.
Love you too, Linux.
So click the drop down and then put them in the actual question bubble, because it's a little bit too hard to try to keep up with all of the comments. For those of y'all that are on LinkedIn and YouTube, y'all can just start dropping y'all questions in the comment section, and we will kind of hop back and forth. Anybody that's in the techpreneur community that's tuning in right now on the stream, whether it's Elisa, Tina, James, any one of y'all, if y'all have any questions, y'all could put them in the private chat. Of course, we prioritize y'all's questions over everyone else's questions. All right, good stuff. So questions that we see, again, I'm seeing questions in the comments. Put the questions in the right place. So I'm gonna say something real quick, y'all. I'm gonna say this thing real quick. And I hope this helps some people. I see mistakes being made all the time. Like, for instance, I'll say comment SDR, and then somebody will comment SER, or they'll comment SLR or something like that. And I know people aren't doing it on purpose. It's an accident. But when I see things like that, it breaks my heart, because it's like, and I see this a lot on Instagram on my actual feed, where people comment the wrong thing, the wrong word, the wrong letter. And I know sometimes it could be an innocent mistake, but I see stuff like that, and I'm like, man, those things, that little mistake oftentimes is the difference between people that are successful and people that are not being successful. And I'm not talking about that specifically, but I'm talking about us not really paying attention, and us not actually like even doubling back and making sure we commented the right thing or said the right thing. Because that same mistake happens on a resume, or it happens during an interview, or it happens during something that you're filling out, or something that you're doing for these companies. So it's really important for us to make sure we're being studious, for us to make sure we're paying attention, we're doing things proper, because oftentimes that is a ripple effect, or it reflects the way that we do other things. And again, sometimes it could just be an innocent mistake, but I've seen these things time and time again tend to happen. I would say that's one thing. The other thing I would say I see a lot is I have a lot of free resources and information on Tech is the New Black, where we answer a lot of questions. We have FAQs, we have all of this stuff. People will message me and ask me a question, and many times it's a question they can Google. And instead of Googling, or instead of using the FAQs, using any of the free resources, they will wait 2 or 3 days for a response from me. And I'm like, I'm going to tell y'all this real quick. In this industry, the reason why they pay you so much money in this industry is because they are expecting you to be an adult. They're paying you adult money because they're expecting you to be an adult. What do I mean by that? That means they're not trying to hold your hand. If you come asking a question that you can Google the answer to, they're not going to hire you. They're going to, like he said earlier, don't ask a question like when they say, hey, do you have any questions for us? If you ask a question like, well, what's the company culture like? You literally just confess to them that you ain't do research. Because like he said, you could look that up on Glassdoor. You could ask the rest of the employees, you could message people on LinkedIn and ask them questions. You want to instead show them that you've done research. You want to say, yeah, so I have a quick question. So I did some research on your company on Glassdoor. I hit up people that work at the company, and this happened. So based on that, can you tell me this? That says to them, oh, you're a grown-up. Wow, you are a whole grown-up. But especially when you're trying to get help, or you're trying to get in the industry, you're trying to make a certain amount of money, I'm going to tell y'all, and this isn't just about tech, like out of my friends that are making 7 figures, that are basically millionaires, they're making $500,000 or more, or 6 figures. And then I have friends that to this day, I've paid for people to do boot camps. I can tell you, the people I've paid to do boot camps that are in tech versus the people that I paid that aren't, there's a very clear difference. The ones that aren't, they fit into that category where they need their hands held. And I'm like, I wouldn't hire you either. No wonder you're not getting a job in any of these interviews. versus the ones that are not just getting in the industry but scaling and making a lot more money. They on top of their game. They're not just thinking, how can I get a $90,000 job in tech, $100,000 job in tech? They're like, yo, I'm trying to get in the industry, but yo, I'm trying to scale. I'm trying to get to this. I'm trying to get to that. So they're doing more. So I'm saying this, and hopefully my tone doesn't make anybody feel beat up or nothing like that. But I'm saying this to share. I want this to be a mentality shift for us where we stop having our hands out and asking somebody to give us a handout, but instead we grow up and we pay attention to what we're doing, even little things like commenting the right 3 letters to get a discount link or get the link to the boot camp, things like that. And the purpose, again, my heart is because I want to see us elevate. And I don't want to see anybody signing up for a boot camp, but because you're not that kind of person, you don't get a job in tech. I want to make sure that you understand what it takes so you can get in this industry and you can make this money and and allow that to bless you, your family, and just more. So anyway, off of that, we're gonna go ahead and get to these questions. But that also applies to the question section. I'm still seeing questions in the comment section. I'm like, y'all just ain't paying attention. You know what? Yeah. So anyway, let's get to these questions. All right, not a question, but thanks, Cyrus. I saw one of your videos last year and been running it up since then. I love it. I love it. Keep changing lives. Hey, God bless. Thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you so much for sharing that. All right, so Ease Going Rock. My bad. I probably shouldn't even said your name. I'm gonna jump to some other questions now, and then I'm gonna come back to your question and not say your name, so I ain't calling you out. So where do we watch the tech for the Tech Saturday? So it'll be in person. So Techpreneur Saturday will be in person in Atlanta. So how do you set up your resume for transferable skills? So the boot camp helps you with your resume. I'll let him answer this question. So how much did the boot camp help you with your resume, and how much additional tweaking did you have to do, if you had to do any at all?
Yeah, so the boot camp definitely helped with the resume. I would say, like, specifically with the transferable skills, it helped show me that the experience that I had before, I can definitely use it, but I had to use it in a way that it would be attractive, for the hiring manager or whoever is looking at it. So that definitely helped. I did some I looked at resources outside of the course careers too. Like, there's a really dope software called Resi. And it really just it's an AI software that really helps you with your resume, and you pretty much take like the job description, you put it like in this little box or whatever, but it kind of shows you like, hey, like this is what they are looking at. Like, so you need to make sure you tailor your resume this way. So yeah, and there's plenty of resources, but you gotta do your research.
Good stuff. Good stuff. What specific boot camp did he go through? Comment SDR and you'll get it in your DMs. It'll have the information. But he did the SDR course. So comment SDR. Literally, that's the role he did. Just comment that, and you'll get it in your DMs. Let's see what we got over here on YouTube and LinkedIn. What y'all got? Do you provide online training? I'm based in the UK. So Ola, this boot camp wouldn't be good for you since you're based in the UK. I would recommend you message me, and you message me the phrase "get me in tech" on Instagram. My automation will send you 2 different recommended boot camps. This will be one of them, but again, this one doesn't apply to you. It'll also send you another one that people are getting jobs internationally doing this boot camp, and they're getting jobs in QA or in DevOps with this boot camp. So just message me on Instagram and you'll get that information. Good question though. All right, so we got a question. Someone asking what is his base salary? So I'll tell y'all this. I'll allow him to answer it if he wants to, but I will say this. I'll preface it this way. I have interviewed over 100 people now during doing these tech testimony streams. Over half of them have been in tech sales. The bases have ranged anywhere on the very, very low end, I usually encourage people not to accept this, but on the very low end, base pay, I've seen it be like 45,000. On the high end, I've interviewed people, their first job in tech, their base pay was 130,000. I share that to say it is irrelevant what he's getting paid, because that doesn't mean anything about what you'll get paid. Because again, it could be even if you ended up at the same company as him, you could negotiate something differently. So that's one thing I would say. The second piece that I would say is, the second piece is that when you're talking tech sales, if you have the mentality where you're more worried about what the base pay is, that's the wrong mentality to have. You need to know what's the most you can make. If you come into a tech sales role thinking, hey, what's the minimum I can make? That reflects a minimum work ethic attitude. Instead, you need to shift your mind to what's the most I can make. What's the top number that the top performers are hitting in what they're doing? And you need to have that mentality and operate in that way. And that's how you'll make significantly more. Because my base pay in my first tech sales role as a sales engineer was $72,000. My OTE, which was supposed to be kind of sort of my ceiling, was $90,000. I made $98,000. And so, and again, I'm not a super rock star. I'm not, you could probably crush it better than I can, but I'm saying you want to have a different mentality where you're thinking of how can I, like, what's the most I can get? Because in this industry, even if your OTE is $100,000, that you could be at a company that has uncapped OTE, and they could have things like accelerators, which you'll learn about that in the boot camp. Literally, accelerators means that now you can get 200% or 150% of what your commission is. I know people who their base pay is $80,000. They take home almost $250,000 a year because they're not worried about their base pay. They literally are like, no, I need to make at least $200,000, $300,000. So I'm going to get these accelerators. I'm going to kill it. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. So I want you to have a mindset shift. Again, just for your benefit, so you can do more. Don't think about the base, think about what you can do. Or if you really, really are stuck on that, which is cool if you are, I would recommend one of their other courses, like their data analytics course or some other course where you're just paid what you're paid, and maybe you get bonuses and stock options and all the other stuff. But if you don't like the idea of really having to like hustle to get like way more money, I would encourage you to do something else where it's just what you're paid, and that's that. And there's nothing wrong with that at all, by the way. All right. I would tell you, Trey. I'll put this out there and let you choose, Jermaine. So, Trey, who he works in the industry right now, he said if he's comfortable saying what company did he land at.
Oh yeah, I'm comfortable. It's a company called Flex. They're a startup company. This is their 5th year. Right. Me and my guy always do like this on the phone. That's how I answer the phone now. But yes, it's a company called Flex. They're 5 years old, startup. They're still private. It's a great company, fintech.
What do they do? Because that's what I think is dope. Like, can you tell everybody really quickly, like, what do they do?
Yeah. So let me put it this way. So tech is dualistically beneficial, right? So it's beneficial for not only, or let me back up. Flex is a software that helps tenants of renters pay their rent on time. So what happens is it's almost like a firm and like a Clara, whatever the other payment plan things are, but it's for rent. So for example, let's say your rent is $1,500 and it's due on the 1st. If you don't have it, and you subscribe with Flex and you get approved. Flex pays that property management company that $1,500. You pay Flex half of that, but then you choose your day of when you want to pay the rest, but it has to be paid within that same month. So it gives you that flexibility, to be able to have some money left over from that first check, from the second check. So it's beneficial for the tenants, but it's also beneficial. The reason why it's beneficial for the tenants, not only for them being on time, but it reports to their credit as positive history. So that's really good for them, but also for the property management company, it helps them to not have to pay their hiring managers to chase down delinquencies and like all these extra hours. It keeps them to be able to retain their tenants, and it helps them get paid on time. Like who don't like getting paid on time? So it's dualistically beneficial.
That's what I'm saying. I was like, yo, it's a dope company, because that's actually fire. Like I would love to do a SDR or account executive role at a company like that.
And you know what? I'm gonna say this too. It's not just for people that are struggling financially. Like I'm gonna try to use it so I can get my credit just super strong. Like
that's the part.
Like
that's
leverage
the part
it.
right there.
Like you ain't got to be down bad. Leverage it.
Because it's crazy that when you rent, it doesn't help your credit, but if you're late or you're not making payments, it hurts your credit. That's the most backwards system.
Help us understand.
That's the most backwards system ever. So I love companies like what his company is doing, where it's now benefiting you as you're paying your rent. That's a dope thing. Like I you know what? I low-key think I know your CEO. Is he an Indian dude?
Yeah, Shragi.
I met him. I had dinner with your CEO in Miami.
What?
Yes, I had dinner with your CEO in Miami.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I think they got something like a $1 billion valuation, something crazy.
It's stupid. So I came at the right time.
Crazy.
I came at the right time.
Yeah. I hung out with him. Ruben Harris, if anybody here knows who Ruben Harris is, he's the founder of Career Karma. He's a young Black dude. Mm-hmm. Ruben is goated. Ruben is like he's the GOAT. So goated. He's like a mentor to me in this space, and has always looked out for me. He's a man of God. He's always, even when I moved out to Miami, he was like, Cyrus, don't be out here wilding. I seen a lot of men come out here with money and in this city, chew them up and spit them out. And so Ruben's a solid dude. So he invited me. And of course, because of who Ruben is, he's so high up, he's low key, but Ruben like is that dude. Like Ruben know everybody. Yeah. And so Ruben invited me there, and we partied. I partied with your CEO, a little bit light party, nothing too crazy. And then afterwards, we went out to dinner, and he paid for everybody. It was like a round table of heavy hitters and stuff. And so and I literally saw, because I followed your CEO. We were following each other for a little bit, and I saw him. I didn't realize how big a deal he was till I saw the announcement. I saw a picture of him, and it was like, his company just got a valuation of like $2 billion. I was like, what?
It's kind of crazy. Yeah, it's definitely crazy. For sure. Man. And look, this and one more thing too. So the reason why this is so dope, right? Which is not too many companies do this. So the reason why this is so dope is so this Flex partnership with whatever property management company we partner with, it's free to them. They ain't got to pay us for it.
Oh,
it's free to them.
That's perfect. That's perfect.
So it's pretty sweet, my guy. It's lovely. Pretty sweet.
That's lovely. So the convincing is just in the that's nothing. It's like you're not even paying us.
Product, like the get if it's possible, guys. If you do your research on these companies, find a company where their product sells itself. Yeah, like just try to do that, and that benefits everybody in every role when it comes to sales. It benefits everybody. Yeah, so
big face. I love that. I love that so much. That's fire. That's super fire. All right, so we're gonna get to a few more of these questions then. I'll let y'all go. So Flex gets paid on subscription from the tenant. Yeah, that's good. So, all right, good stuff. So I don't see too many other questions. I'm gonna make sure people scaling. What is a way that people are scaling in the tech industry? So there are a few different ways to scale in tech. If you're talking money, because I know scale, people hear scale and they solely think like scaling in their job. So yeah, you can scale in your job. You can scale by killing at your company and moving up within your company, or you can scale by leveraging your brand on LinkedIn and by networking at tech networking events. And now you have other companies poaching to get you to take you from your company. So now you're job hopping. And so you can job hop and scale. That's a very popular way to scale and make a lot of money. One of the fastest ways to increase your income in the tech industry. The third way to scale in tech is to do job stacking or overemployment, where you're working, and you can't do this in tech sales. This will be a non-customer facing role like QA, DevOps, something like that, where you're working at 2 to 3, sometimes 4 tech companies at the same time. And now that's how you can scale. I have friends that do that. They make $500,000-$600,000 a year, and they work remote and they live in some other country, so they live in a life. And then there is a fourth way that people don't talk about. This is the equity play. I have friends that are millionaires in tech. They work in tech. They're millionaires, and what they do is they research different companies like NVIDIA. Y'all know the company NVIDIA right now, that it's now the most valuable company in the world. They passed Microsoft and Apple. Y'all listen to what I'm about to tell y'all.
Crazy.
The play I'm about to tell y'all, it could make some of y'all millionaires if you listen. So this is the play. A lot of people in tech do this, where while you're working in the industry, you can literally like look across the industry and look at startups that are promising, just like Flex. Flex is a promising company. Imagine this company, Flex. 2 years ago, the people that started at Flex before it was valued at got its like $1 billion valuation, when they got hired, if they accepted equity as a part of their comp package or compensation package, that equity that they got when the company, I'm not sure if they've gone public. I think they've gone public now. But that could, okay. So they're on the verge of going. They haven't gone public yet. But when they go public, if all the chips continue to align, those people could become millionaires overnight. It's literally like you're holding on to an investment in a company that you're working at. So you're making 6 figures from the company you're working at, and you're holding on to an investment while you're working there. And when the company goes public, that could yield you that could be a $700,000 bonus check, or it could be a multi-million dollar bonus check. So that's the fourth way that people scale in tech. And many times they rinse and repeat. They'll do that. So now they're a millionaire. They'll either invest those millions of dollars into real estate, into rental properties, or they'll just sit on it. And then they'll hop over to another company and do the same thing. They'll run the equity play. So that's the play that they run. Or they'll take that money, they'll collaborate. I guess it's the fifth way to scale. They'll take that money, they'll collaborate with other friends, so that like AJ, like Jermaine and AJ, and then other people can collaborate, and they can say, hey, y'all, we're all sitting on millions of dollars now since the companies we were at went public. How about we take some of this money and we create our own startup? And because each of you not only have millions of dollars you're sitting on, so you don't need a bank. You can bankroll everything you're doing, or you can get a loan, because again, if all of y'all are still making 6-figure incomes from working in tech, a bank will throw money at you, because they're like, oh yeah, the 4 or 5 of y'all that are over this company that are created this startup, each of y'all make on average $150,000 to $300,000. Oh yeah, y'all want a $10 million loan for this startup idea? Oh cool, we'll go ahead and give it to you. So these are a few different plays that people run in tech. When I tell y'all, it's so many ways in this industry to be rich. Like it's really crazy. It's just pick which one you want to do and go ahead and do it.
That's good, man.
But those are like a few different things, a few different ways. And so, all right, we got one more question. So look, y'all, we're gonna do one more question, and then we'll probably do 2 more, like 2 questions popped up. How do you find startup companies? So you can go to Y Combinator. If you go to Y Combinator, I talk about this in the Techpreneur Discord community. that I'm in. If you go to Y Combinator, I have like a whole training on this. If you go to Y Combinator and you go to, or you can go to Built in LA, you can find startups, smaller companies that you can look at those companies and you can look them up in the news to see what kind of valuation they got. You can look at what their company does. Part of it is a guessing game because it's not like the company is guaranteed to be worth billions of dollars. So part of it is you looking at the company, look at their leadership. So don't just look at the idea. The difference between new investors versus veteran investors or VCs, venture capitalists, is that new investors invest in an idea. Wise investors invest in people. That's why you can have a crazy fire idea. You can have a crazy business idea. It means nothing if you're not the person to actually be able to implement it, if you don't have the proper connections. So you want to not just look at the companies and look at the ideas. You also want to look at who is the leadership. Now, what does that mean? You want to look at the leadership and you want to look at what have they all done before this. Because if this is their first time with a startup and none of them have done this before, none of them have built up a company to being worth hundreds of millions or billions of dollars and then exited it, then more than likely they're not the people that's going to take it there. And you probably don't want to work at a company with first-time startup founders. So you want to look at people, even if it's their first time at a startup, at least at the bare minimum that they've all been in executive roles before, that they know what they're doing. So you want to look at those pieces when it comes to vetting the startup. There's a few other things you could do as well, but this stream is going on way too long. And I would say join the techpreneur community. Just DM me tech community, and I'll send you the information to be able to join into the community and get the training and stuff that I have on that. So because we got a lot of different plays and modules and stuff to help people be able to scale further in tech. All right. Anyway, so question we got right here from James. This is actually from within the community. James is in the techpreneur community. He says, Jermaine, how far are you looking to scale in tech? He mentioned enterprise sales, account executive. So, and again, you just started. You had your first day yesterday. So
yeah, but that's interesting. I can answer that if you.
Yeah,
you know. So one of the I guess the part of my mindset was to interview like through the role, right? Like I want to be able to demonstrate some qualities that will show people or show like the manager like that my ceiling ain't SDR, you know, like my ceiling, you know, is I want to be in the room, you know, like I want to be in the room. So let me demonstrate, you know, like these qualities. That's why I mentioned earlier about like showing them that you got like tenacity, like, and you're not afraid to talk and even show your knowledge of the product, you know? So yeah, I'm looking at the enterprise, you know, sales, man. Like I know where the money at.
Yeah.
You know, I know where it's at, and if God willing, you know, like that's where He takes me. I want to show like, you know, like that I'm ready, that I'm preparing for that. Like I'm not looking to stay in the same spot, you know, forever. You know, so
yeah, I love it.
Hopefully, answer your question, James.
I love it so much. You definitely gonna get there too, especially with you being there in North Carolina with Shanae. And so I love that so much. Trey Days says he'll be a account executive very soon. Enterprise segment is where the money is. Shouts out to Trey Days. He works at a big tech company right now that's crushing it, doing major numbers. And so that's dope hearing that from him. All right, y'all. So look, y'all, we about to go ahead and wrap this up. So again, y'all, just reminding everybody that so he just recently broke into tech, had his first day yesterday. Major big. If you're jumping in late and you missed his story, please go back to hear his story. It's so inspiring, so educational, with his wife being in his corner, the way that him and his friend, how they had each other's backs, and his friend, you know, really helped him out as they both signed up for the course at the exact same time in the tech sales industry. Major opportunity to scale, no ceiling. Really beautiful story. Again, for those of y'all that are on Instagram, just comment SDR or DM me SDR if you missed this by the time I close it out, and you'll get the discount link to the same boot camp that he did, the same course he did SDR. Those of y'all on LinkedIn, YouTube, You can click on the link in the drop down. If it's not clickable, if it's not a hyperlink, then I would just suggest in the meantime, you just come to my Instagram and you comment that on my Instagram page. Aside from that, y'all, Techpreneur Saturday is coming up in a couple of weeks. It's completely free. It's registration only. You do need to make sure you get your registration when it comes to the event. And so we're going to be announcing registration for it in a couple of days. In the meantime, if you want to make sure that you're one of the first to know about it, go to my DMs or here and just comment tech event. And then we'll be able to get your contact information so that way you can be one of the first people to know about it before we announce it online. Look, other than that, y'all, love y'all so much. Thank y'all for coming on. Jermaine, bro, I want to give you the floor for one last thing you might want to share with people that you want to leave them with before we hop off.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. First, my wife told me, good job. Thank you, babe. I love you and I appreciate you. Thank you, son, my son, Linux. I appreciate you, boy. I would like to say, man, that no matter like what direction you take, you know, like whether it's tech, whatever it is, you know, I mentioned this earlier, but the reason why I was able to do this and the reason why I'm going to continue to do this is because of my Lord and Savior Jesus. Like that, I really do fall back on him. You know, I have my low days, I have my high days, but he is the one that remains the same. He's the same yesterday, today, and forever. So I just want to encourage y'all, you know, if you don't know Jesus, you know, don't just give him a try, but taste and see, you know, like that he is good. You know, so that's what I want to leave y'all with. You know, y'all be blessed. Thank you, Cyrus. I appreciate this platform and the opportunity to be able to, you know, do this, man. This was incredible. And, you know, I look to be able to circle back, you know, sometime, you know, with a crazier story, you know, just to update you, my man. So, yeah.
Yo, man, thank you so much, man. I love you and your wife, man. Shouts out to y'all. Beautiful story. Thank y'all. Thank you, bro, for coming on. And yeah, just sharing, being vulnerable and opening it up. Look, y'all, I love y'all. Please, like any of y'all, as y'all breaking into the tech industry, message me if you want to share your testimony. Or even if you don't want to come on and share your testimony, you just want to let me know. You know, that's always a blessing to me too, because I love seeing people, you know, get into this industry. And overall, I just love seeing people elevate in whatever way that is. So I love it. So thank you so much, Jermaine. All y'all, many blessings to everybody that's here. Much love to all of y'all. Hey, look, let's all rock. Let's elevate and get closer to God, get closer to our goals, our dreams, all that good stuff. Y'all have a great night. Love y'all.
Yes, sir.